Okay, so this is my first video on my journey. I've got a complete RG500 over there. I say complete, well it's complete as in there's all the bits, but they are bits. Basically forks, wheels, frame, there's an engine down there, tank, and then two boxes. Got two boxes of bits there, and then some exhausts. And then I got a complete RG500, really nice one, aesthetically, cosmetically, but the engine's not running right. So this is my start. So the purpose of this video is to try and take it to bits and see what's wrong with it. So first of all, just taking obviously the seat off. As you see, my garage, no room. And then 10mm spanner, take this back cowl off. See, it's got a brand new toolkit there, which is quite nice, but gonna have to get all this. I think I'll just take the tank off to start with, get to the engine, get to the plugs and see what's wrong with the plugs, because it's misfiring. And then what I'm going to hope to do is use my bits from the other bike that was perfectly okay when it was built, it was running, and swap them out, debug it that way, see what's wrong with it. Okay, so I've just started investigating this purchase. First issue, although it looks really tidy, first issue is the intake for one of these carbs isn't even connected to the air filter. So that's a bit shit. I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but the guy also sold it with some new coils. They're not Suzuki ones, but it says they're RG500, so why did he buy them? Maybe that's what's wrong with it. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what this idiot has done to this, but just a simple coil change, and I've got it all sparking, so I would imagine that that's the problem. So let's put it back together and have a look if we can get this going. I'm trying to get this bike to start. I bought it, it was working sort of okay, it started, but suddenly it started backfiring and it won't start. First probably issue I didn't like was the choke here, kept sliding back, so I've taken it to pieces and found there's a little bit missing in the old version, which is this one here. There's just a little sort of rubber grommet, sort of little square thing in there that's missing on this one, so that's it's like a little stopper, just a little friction stopper, so that's missing, so I put another one on. Okay, I thought I would just show you that it's this little piece of orangey, just that little bit there that's missing on the other one, and so it don't work properly, it moves about, but there we go. So I've got one here, so let's stick this on. So hopefully once I've wired that up, my choke will actually, you know, you were trying to kick start it whilst holding the choke on manually with your hand, which if you own one of these bikes, you'll know that's not the easiest thing to do. So let's get this choke that when it's on, that'll make things easier. Okay, sorted. So just to be clear, this just used to be sloppy as hell. It just would go, as soon as you pulled the choke on it, slide back. And now I've got a nice fixed choke and you manually turn it off. Brilliant, I've done it. Over here I've taken these carbs off. I've checked the floats are not with holes in, and I've checked the heights. I've got to do the other side and then slowly put it back together. See, I've checked the sparks already, but this bike looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful, great condition. But actually when you start pulling these things to pieces, I found that, you know, the guy sold it without the air filters wired up properly, a lot of loose bolts. The wiring's been minced. You know, I've got another wiring loom, but I'm trying to get it to work with this wiring loom. But the headlight was coming on when I don't know, the headlight was just coming on randomly. And then this is one of the things I really didn't like, is they've sort of just, I don't know, they've sort of, I don't know what they've done here, glued a bit of plastic here, or I don't know what this is. They sort of glued a metal bar in and glued a screw in, and then sort of cut this off to fit, sort of use the hole in it to put on the top. Right old bodge. So yeah, that's not cool. So I'm gonna sort that out. I've got another one of these. Obviously that's wrecked this version, so this frame is how it should be. So you got that version, you can see it, some form of wire artistic design. This is what it should be. So I've bought some paint. I'm gonna get all this rubbed down and resprayed. Got my plugs. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at the moment. So hopefully I can get this going, and then I've got my new engine over there to put in it. So I wanted to get this engine running to say, okay, the electrics are all right. Okay, it doesn't matter about the carbs, but just wanted to debug it. So when I sell that engine, if that's what I'm going to do, I know it's a good engine. It's good working. It is. I just need to know what exactly what the small problem is. Okay, so I am looking, taking the, whatever this is called, the float jet, is it? Not a float jet, float needle. So I've whipped this float needle out, and to me, it don't look too bad. Let's just look at that. I think it's okay. The float level's a bit high, so I'll adjust that. See what happens. Okay, so I've just taken the second set of carbs off the right hand side of the bike to find that this one hasn't got an O-ring at all, and the other one has on the other side. Okay, it's dirty now because it's been on the floor, but it was broken. So maybe that's the problem, where it's farting and spitting and not working very well. Okay, so taking the bottom of the float chamber off, you can see, and I think you're just about to see, there's some sort of stuff in the bottom there. It's petrol, some sort of bubbles of other stuff, and I bet that's oil. I don't know, the fuel feels sort of oily, I think. Maybe it's the oil. The oil supply's too much, don't know. But if anyone can help me, do you know what those blobs in the fuel are? If anybody knows what that is, that would be really helpful. That's probably the problem. Okay, the other carb has got the same bubbles of another, whatever that is. I reckon that's oil, or maybe it's water actually. But yeah, that looks like the problem, right? Whatever that is, that shouldn't be there. Okay, and then finally check the float heights, and that one's 20 mil and this one's about 18. I've set those both to 17, so float height's not right either. So another issue. There's not going to be any help for it to go. Okay, so this is the big moment. I've cleaned the carbs, refloat balance them, or whatever you want to call that, and put it all back together. Set up this temporary setup, which I think is pretty good, where my fuel is over there. I've got these long fuel lines. Hopefully that's alright. Fuel does come out, so I don't have to keep sort of putting a tank on and off. Probably obvious to you, to many, but so yeah, let's see if we can get it to go. Okay, it's not going to go, but as you can see, these are all dry, and this one is dripping out. This one's dripping out oil, so there's something wrong with that. Basically, I tried to get it going. I've just done the video of the oil coming out, and of course I didn't fill the petrol tank up, so that's why it wouldn't go. But I have got it going, but it's not. It's only really going on the top pipes, and as you can see here, absolutely dripping with oily, whether that's fuel. So the next thing to do, I think, is to change that front plug and see if it was sparking though, but I'll see if it's a dead plug, then have another go. Okay, I've just had it going again. I'll put the fuel on it. It will go, but it's backfiring, it's spitting and doing all sorts of things. So I found that this plug is not firing. I've just done a test on the plug with a multimeter. I think it's a dead plug, so I put a new one on. It's sparking, so let's have another go. Fixed. A dead plug, can you believe it? I checked that the other day, it was alright. Okay, after cleaning the carbs out, messing with the electrics, stripping all the electrics down on the front, I've last got MOT and tax. This thing's ready to go. I'm hoping I've put these new little oil valves, these check valves, to hopefully stop the over oiling. And thanks to Carl and Robbie off Facebook for giving me some advice on that, because I think we're sold. So this is sort of the first proper maiden run. See how we get on. Okay, so I've been out for a several mile ride on this bike now, and it looks all good. So thanks again to Robbie and Carl. It hasn't seized. It's a little bit, as you can see, a little bit more wet on that pipe, but it's dried, and I've just tested it and there's no more oil spitting out. So I'll clean this up and it's good to go. So the next thing is, when something's fixed, let's break it, because now this is perfectly running, I'm going to rip the engine out and put another one in. So but thanks again. Happy days, we've got a working RG500.
trouble because you